Hello everyone and welcome back to the Agricola video series. Today we're going to be touching upon the topic of the contrasting consequences of climate change on migratory geese, in particular the barnacle goose. Maarten Loonen is a researcher at the Arctic Center at the University of Groningen, specializing in Arctic ecology. Additionally, he's a fellow to the Rudolf Agricola School for Sustainable Development. Every year, Dr. Loonen travels to the archipelago of Svalbard in the Arctic Ocean as the manager and director of the Netherlands Arctic Station there. He and his fellow colleagues have developed a paper that works upon data gathered throughout their whole career span, and it looks into how climate change can impact migratory geese. I have invited him today to discuss the methods and the impact of his paper.
So in 1990 I went for the first time up to Spitsbergen, Svalbard as the Norwegians call it, and to study geese. And I've been using plastic rings with inscriptions with three characters on it. And I can look them up with a telescope on a distance of 200 meters. And we follow these geese all over their life. In the breeding area, I'm doing it. In Scotland, other people. In Norway, there are people. These geese fly from Scotland to Norway and then to Svalbard to reproduce. The model basically contains all the data I collected on geese, on predators, on plants, but also on the weather. And not only on the weather on Svalbard, but also on the situation in Scotland, where the population winters. So it's a full year round, a full circle. But so reproduction is happening on Spitsbergen and wintering and preparing for spring. Spring migration is just a long migration, more to 3,000 kilometers up north. And they need to be prepared, but they also need to refuel during that migration in the coast of Norway. So different spots, and we combined all these data we've been collecting. So my study is a kind of interdisciplinary study. Of course, I look at animals and plants, which we would call biology. But it's a society of geese, it's a society of foxes. So there's also a sociology aspect in it. And I'm looking at these individuals. I try to link behavior to breeding success and survival. And that could be in any study on humans. It could be a total different name for the study than biology. When I started with my PhD, the idea was that the goose population was expanding enormously because the farmers fertilized the country in Scotland and in Norway, but that the Arctic was not changing. So we thought about a similar situation where the expanding goose population, because the winter survival got better, couldn't have more room, and especially during the wing molt period when they have to graze in this small area. So the expectation was no change, so population regulation will happen at that period. Then climate change came in, and it became warmer, there was more grass growth, the season started earlier, there was less snow, so a lot of the limitations disappeared. And that just was a big thing actually. And so from just studying behavior and the system, it became a system in transition, in climate change transition. Because climate change is 6 times more on Svalbard than it is in the Netherlands. It's really hitting hard over there with the disappearance of the ice. I love geese because they are visible and you can hang big things on them and then still collect data. But also they are migratory birds. Migratory birds are fascinating. Just imagine they winter in Scotland, then they disappear over there. Then they are in Norway for 1 month and then they are 2 to 3 months on Svalbard. But it's just wonderful to go to these places and to experience and meet people over there, which are also fascinating, of course. It's a small world, but it's a complete world.
I hope you dig this video and that you will join me next time for another interesting discussion.